What's up, guys? This is Lucid Rain, and we are doing another episode of our Cryptid series. And today we are covering the Kappa, which is a Japanese yokai, which is essentially just a. I don't want to say mythological because that's who knows what the origin is, but basically a
Well,
mythological Japanese
here's the
entity.
thing. Here's the thing about yokai is there is a manuscript that talks about them in a historical context and
Right. Yeah.
pretty much talks about them as if they are entirely real. Like,
Yeah. There's a lot of that, but yeah. Um. So it's basically a child-sized turtle, kind of. It has webbed feet, webbed hands, scaly skin. Um, it has a beak, at least in most depictions. I don't know if it
which
always has a beak.
turtles have beaks as well.
That's
But
true,
yeah,
they
it's
do.
it's basically like a anthropomorphic turtle monster
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it is. Yeah,
that likes to sumo wrestle.
yeah, and likes to do a lot of things that it shouldn't be doing, which we'll get into. Uh, so it has a. If you look up a picture of the Kappa, you'll immediately notice that there's a hollow indentation on their head, and that's filled with water. And there's a bunch of different like things people say that happens if they lose the water, but the main thing is that they could die or they could lose their power. What their power is exactly, I like honestly could not get a straight answer because they seem like they're kind of just creatures. So like I'm not really sure what their like power is necessarily, but
Well, I think essentially they're like a lot of yokai. They're not necessarily evil. They're kind of just more mischievous. So you could run into one and be fine, like them not
yeah,
do anything to you. But you also run the risk of them pulling pranks on you or straight up just trying to murder you. Like there's various options if you come across one of these things.
yeah. So we can get into like their behavior. So they're mostly around bodies of water. Uh, Not necessarily like the ocean, I don't think, but like rivers and lakes. Um, and yeah, they will. It's pretty much up in the air whether what this thing will do to you if it does anything to you. So they like to prank people, like stealing food from people, lifting women's kimonos, which is a Japanese dress. I don't know if it's considered a dress. It's a Japanese clothing outfit, and purposely scaring people as well. But they start doing a lot worse things to people sometimes as well. This is the absolute extreme of it, but they will kill animals by drowning them in the same body of water that they come from. They kidnap children, they murder people, and I don't know if I can say this word on YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah,
They assault
it's a
women.
yeah, it's well, yeah, it's a word that starts with R, and it's definitely not allowed being said on YouTube,
Yeah,
so you
so
probably can
that's
get it.
those are the absolute extremes of what they do, but I don't think a majority of them are like doing those things. I think majority of them are doing somewhat harmless things, like pranking people and messing with them and stuff like that. And if you remember, we were talking about the water on their head. Some people would trick the Kappa into spilling the water, so they'd like bow to the Kappa, and apparently it'll bow back. And when it does that, the water will spill out. And what that does is, they until it's filled back up, the Kappa could. I think the Kappa could like serve you or something, like not permanently, but like until it gets water in it or in its head again or something like that. Very odd, but
Yeah, I think it's like if you get it to bow and then you fill it up and save its life, it is essentially indebted to you because you did it a favor, and it will basically, owe you one.
so yeah,
Pretty much.
it's possible to befriend them essentially in a way, because like they've been known to do a few things for people, catch fish for people, because I imagine back then like people were look catching fish more than just for like sport, and apparently they're highly knowledgeable in medicine, so like they can cure disease and sicknesses. But which I was saying, what is their power earlier? I guess that's part of their power.
Yeah, they're just really good at with medicine, and they can pretty much cure any disease, I guess. So you would want one of them on your side, and they're aquatic animals, so they can catch fish and do other things, related to water.
Yeah, so you can
So
pretty much befriend them, and that
yeah, if
honestly
you're
would
a
be a big help,
fisherman,
I
that
imagine.
would be a huge help.
Oh yeah, that would be a massive help to someone like that. Oh yeah, we should talk about how to ward off the Kappa because it's a pretty problematic yokai. So there's got to be ways to like get it away from you, right? So apparently people would throw like vegetables into the water to like just appease the Kappa and not have it like bother them, because I figure not I figure, but they figure it won't bother them if they're doing something for it, like on a however often basis. So if you get on their good side, I guess they're kind of just they won't mess with you, but I guess that's not a guarantee either, though.
Yeah, they're similar to a lot of water spirits, which there is a great many of them, and we'll cover a lot of them. But anything that resides near water typically ends with drowning people.
Yeah,
Even
there's a
even
lot
the
of
ones
that.
that are more benevolent,
Right.
still end up drowning people a lot of the time, it seems. So
Bodies of water being, being dangerous for multiple reasons, like and yokai included, like that is a very common theme I've realized in like, cryptid history and stuff like that. Oh yeah, want to talk about this. So they do this thing where they steal people's. Hopefully, I'm gonna butcher this, but I'm gonna say it. Shirikodama, which is basically your soul, and that makes them and their abilities and their powers better. They get more powerful, and basically they extract it from humans through your asshole, basically. Like so they
yeah, it sounds horrible.
you can use your imagination basically and determine how they do that.
If you search Kappa, I think they have pictures demonstrating that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sure they do. Like, and that might
yeah,
sound like a
they're
random
pretty
fact.
they're pretty crazy looking creatures, because they essentially look like a 4-foot turtle person. Like they look like TMNT almost.
Actually, yeah, they kind of do.
They just have a more bird-like beak than most turtles, which, like, snapping turtles, I mean, they straight up have a beak. So,
Right. Yeah.
it's kind of like that. So they're somewhat intimidating as far as, like, if you came across one, you would probably be, scared shitless.
Yeah, for sure. And in terms of known sightings, there is, I mean, modern sightings probably absolutely none, but there is a
I'm not
lot
sure.
of
There might
Japanese
be.
text. There might be, but there's a lot of Japanese text that talks about kappas and how to ward them off and their experiences with them, and that stuff is not like all. It's not all taken as fiction necessarily. Some of that text is like, I don't. What do you call a book that's not fiction? I don't know. I guess just non-fiction book.
Non-fiction.
Yeah, I guess just non-fiction book. Yeah, it would be like non-fiction Japanese books that.
Yeah, no, like I said,
Are like that.
There's historical texts that speak of all yokai essentially as if they are, in reality and were part of the landscape at one point.
Yeah.
Which, kind of puts a damper on sightings and, kind of makes our opinion on, if you've listened to these videos, we kind of have a structure where at the end we say, do we think this is real? What is our opinion? This one is kind of null and void, and like most yokais are in urban legends, just because it's like Japan has been modernized a lot, So either this stuff was killed off, went in hiding, or was never real to begin with.
Yeah.
So like it being historically accurate, doesn't mean much. And I don't know. It's like really hard to gauge all of that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, for sure. Especially with something that's, there's some things that have been around back then and are still supposedly around, but this is one of those things where you don't, you're not hearing about people seeing kappas in Japan. Like, I'm not saying that no one does, but you don't hear about it if there is people doing it. So it's mostly a thing from, I guess you'd say, ancient like times, Japanese history. So whether it's real or not, like you can't really say that every yokai is gonna be the same conclusion for is it real, because I mean they all kind of have the similar history.
Yeah, I mean, yokai are varied, and yokai. We've said that a lot. For those that don't know, that is essentially just the word for like malevolent spirit. So onis would be a yokai.
Yeah.
Umibozo would be a yokai.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah.
kappa. I mean, there's a lot of things that fall under demon fox. Like, if you're an anime fan, more than likely there is yokai present in the anime. If it's a fiction, if it's like fiction, or even like a battler. Most battlers pretty much have yokai
I
in
mean,
them.
even if it's not outright stated as a yokai in anime and stuff like that, there's clearly inspiration in a lot of creature design and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff goes way back. Well, guys, this was Lucid Rain. Hope you enjoyed this look at the Kappa, and we will have more cryptids coverage coming out probably soon. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.